I have a confession to make. Until recently, I didn't know the difference between a hyphen, which is this, and an en dash, which is this, and an em dash, which is this. I did not even know that the latter two had their own names. If you had asked me a year ago, I would have said that these three horizontal lines are interchangeable. They are not. I am somewhat comforted by the fact that it appears that many scientists, presumably as well educated as I am, also do not appear to know the difference between a hyphen, an en dash, and an em dash. Fortunately for all of us, the rules regarding the use of these dashes are fairly straightforward. The smallest of dashes, the hyphen, has two uses. The first involves joining the parts of a compound adjective. A typical compound adjective that appears in the scientific literature is well known. Others are first line and full length. Strunk and White caution that one should not use a hyphenated compound word when one single word will suffice. The example they give is waterfowl instead of waterfowl. The problem, of course, is how does one know if there is a hyphen or the two words should be one? Strunk and White recommend using a dictionary. For scientific writers, a better choice is Google Scholar. If you are tempted to use a word combination, chances are that someone in the literature has used the combination before you. Simply enter the two or more words in the search box and scroll through the hits. What you may find could confuse you. In some cases, authors use the words separated, some use a hyphen, and some combine two words into one. This happens to be the case with the words wild and type. According to Google Scholar, wild type without the hyphen, and wild type altogether all appear in the literature. So which one do you choose? My suggestion is to choose whatever looks right to you. Strunk and White warn that one must be careful with the hyphen. They tell the story of an unfortunate consequence of an otherwise appropriate use of the dash. The city of Chattanooga, Tennessee had two newspapers, the News and the Free Press. When the two newspapers merged, they became the Chattanooga News Free Press. The placement of the hyphen made it appear that the paper was news-free. In other words, devoid of news. According to Google Scholar, wild type without the hyphen, and wild type altogether all appear in the literature. I should just delete that. In scientific writing, hyphens are often needed to express age, time, and distance. For example, a rat that was born 1 week ago is a 1-week-old rat. You do not want to say that the animal is a 1-week-old rat. The latter suggests that the rat has been old for a week. In histology and pathology results, authors will often use a hyphen in the description of the thickness of sections. For example, 4-micron sections were cut using a microtome. Incidentally, it is not necessary to say 4-micron thick sections. The word thick is a redundancy, or as I call it, a pizza pie. If you were to write 4-micron sections, the reader might interpret it to mean that there were 4 sections and each one was a micron thick. The bottom line, see what I did there, is that the hyphen is there to help you avoid confusing the reader. Okay, now we get into the meat, the en dash. The slightly longer en dash is so named because its length is the same as capital N in a particular font. According to the Punctuation Guide, an en dash is used to represent a span or range of numbers, dates, or times. There should be no space between the en dash and the adjacent material. Depending on the context, the en dash is read as to or through. For example, the Golden State Warriors are the 2017-2018 NBA champions. The animals were fed daily 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. If you will be using words such as between, during, from, do not use the en dash. So a correct usage is the age range was 17 to 80 years. Incorrect would be the age range was from 70 to 80 years. But it gets worse. There's more bad news about the en dash. The mark does not appear on a standard keyboard. I wrote this in Microsoft Word on a MacBook Pro Air with a standard QWERTY keyboard. To find the en dash, you need to go to Insert, Advanced Symbol, Special Characters, highlight the en dash, and hit Insert. Needless to say, this is a pain. So I created a shortcut. It's now Command Dash, and that's my en dash. And I recommend that you do likewise.